Good morning from Alvor. I'm here in this sleepy little fishing village not far from Portimao. Now, Alvor is quite historic. It was first founded in the 4th century BC by the Romans when they invaded the Iberian Peninsula. It was then taken over by the Moors, who named it Alvor, which turned into Alvor. Now, it's quite interesting that Alvor was a place where the negotiations took place for the independence of Angola, a former Portuguese colony, along with Mozambique. Well, the reason why we're here today is to learn a bit more about King João II. Now, King João, he came here to Alvor on a state visit where he unexpectedly died. And his body was taken from Alvor to nearby Silves, 30 kilometres that way, and he was interred into the cathedral for some time. So, let's have a look around Alvor, explore a little bit around, and then we'll head over to Seoul to find out a bit more. Let's go. Well, we've arrived in Sylves, or Sylves. This was once the capital of the Kingdom of the Algarve until 1910, when it was transferred to Faro. This place was once a seat of power for the Algarvian kingdom. It's a tourist town, but it still preserves its history. As you can see behind me, you've got the castle, built many thousands of years ago. But first, here we've got the cathedral. Though it was built much later than the castle, it was built around the mid 1200s after the Crusaders reconquered Silves from the Moors' occupation of these lands. It wasn't until 1499 when King Manuel I arrived here in Silves. He ordered that the body of King João II would be taken from Silves, from this cathedral, up to Batalha in the north. The earthquake in 1755 demolished much of Portugal. Many historic monuments, buildings, cathedrals such as this perished due to the terrible tremors which happened. This very cathedral had its nave completely destroyed. In the years afterwards, they rebuilt it. Much like all of Portugal, major renovations took place, rebuilding these historical structures. Many years ago, when the Romans invaded the Iberian Peninsula, they brought many things with them. They brought their olive trees, bread, grapes for producing wine, and they also brought their architecture. And here, in Silves, is a prime example of Roman architecture. Take a look. Here you've got the Roman bridge of Silves. It's amazing to think that over 1,000 or more years later, things like this are still well preserved. The Romans came here, expanding their empire, taking over what was then known as Lusitania, now known as Portugal and Spain. And today, these bridges, once used as ways of transporting goods from A to B, are now deserted. But still rather cool that we can see that it's still kind of used, except going by the sign we can't walk across it. But come on, let's have a go. See if we get caught. Try not to get caught. Now, for those of you who are quite wealthy, if you've got a couple of million euros laying around, this would be the ideal spot for a hotel. It's actually for sale, so anybody who's interested, contact Nuno Barao. I'm sure old Nuno will be able to help you get a good deal on this. I mean, it's amazing that Even this old mansion, this manor house, is still built out of the same sandstone. Even down to the drainage, made out of these carved sandstone monuments, almost shell type shaped. After the earthquake in 1755, much of the castle had been demolished and fell down during the terrible tremors. So what the locals did, they took the stones and they rebuilt other parts of the city with the same stone. While the castle was rebuilt in different style, the old stones were brought to places like this. Even stones that were laid around for centuries were dug up and made into surrounds for big mansions outside the city limits. Interesting, huh? So the castle that we're walking up to now was built thousands and thousands of years ago. Nobody knows exactly when it was built, but what is known, it was the early Lusitanians, the people who once inhabited Portugal. Remember, thousands of years ago, the first people were called the Lusitanians, and this area of land was known as Lusitania. And this castle here was its defence, built out of the same rock we see around this city, the sandstone, this very dark muddy colour. Now walking up to Sylves Castle, this was once a place built by the Lusitanians, the first people of Lusitania, before it was named Portugal, the early inhabitants of these lands. Now over the years, the castle has been revamped, rehomed by different people, the Romans, the Greeks, the Moors, even the Crusaders, all came to take over this castle. Once the Moors were taken over by the Crusaders, they were kicked out of Portugal. The Crusaders took over. And the head of the Crusades was this guy, King João I of Portugal. Driving the Crusaders out, he revamped Portugal into the Christian land, removing the Islamic influence, though parts of it still remain. Today, Portugal is heavily Catholic, led by the Catholic Church in Rome, the Vatican. Now, I don't know how far I can get in, because I need to put on the old Mexican beer mask. We are in the days of Corona. Let's see how far we can get in. It's a little dark, but we'll see what we can see. Wow. So high, it's amazing how they built this. So many hundreds of years ago. In this amazing dome shape. Obviously now it's a state museum, so you have to pay to go in. But let's see how much we can see through the gates. You've got the flag of Sylves, those famous palm trees. And again, this amazing brick, this sandstone. So something you don't realise when watching these videos is it's about 35 degrees today. So it's hot, it's sticky, it's muggy. But one good thing is you have these things. Now when I first saw them I thought they were some sort of water fountain. But actually they're there to cool you off. So I'm going to try and see if one of them goes off. There we go. So the good bit is you can actually cool down while you're doing your YouTube videos. It's great. parks like this are very common all across Europe, but especially down here. They have a French Parisian sort of feel to them, mixed in with the palm trees and Moroccan influence. And partly that is to do with the building right in front of us, the Cultural Museum, which today is open. This museum was or is, should I say, the Museum of Arts of the Islamic world, something that is famed in this city. So let's have a look. Casa de Cultura Islamica in Mediterranean, the House of Culture, Islamic and Mediterranean. Now, I'm not going to go in today, but I wanted to show you the gardens. These gardens are built on the Islamic theme, the tiled fountain, the domes, which are very reminiscent of places like Morocco, Algeria, the green shrubs, the pathway leading through, and the cobbles. I can't believe it, but I've lost a car. How the hell do you lose a car in a small town? There's one of these. So you're probably wondering why I'm walking along here. And this is to show you the cemetery. A place that people come to bring their dead. Unlike places like the UK, where it's very small, very open-aired. Here, as you can see, it's all covered in by a wall right the way around. It's classed as a sacred place, unlike the churchyards in the UK, which are great mounds of greenery with tombstones scattered all around. Here, they have a dedicated little place. The place is quiet, quite reserved. Now, I'm being a bit careful with filming here because I want to be quite respectful. There's a funeral going on. But let's try and have a look over here. We might be able to get a glimpse through the railings at how pretty the graves are. Hundreds and hundreds of graves. You've got the mausoleums along the back. These mausoleums are used by families, sometimes several generations, all put in there. After the wife dies, the husband goes in, after the husband, children, grandchildren, and so on. Sometimes, unfortunately, babies. These things happen. It's life. But it's amazing that the style is very similar to those in Mexico and Spain. Very colourful. So you're probably wondering why I've changed my shirt. This is the official shirt of the Portuguese national team, the national football team of Portugal. And if you have a look on the side here, you've got the crest, the Knights Templar cross. It's been a symbol of Portugal for centuries. And it wouldn't be right to come into Sylves to end this video without showing a bit of dedication to the Portuguese national team and to the symbol that has been a symbol of Portugal for so many years. So here is to Portugal, and here is the cross I was telling you about. This is the cross that was donated to the city of Seoul by King Manuel I in the 1400s. Now put in this pagoda style canopy. It used to stand rather outside the cathedral up in the city, now brought to the outskirts. So this little area here, you've got Mary holding Jesus after he was crucified, then round the other side the image of Christ crucified, the plaque, the paper, which once read Inri, Jesus Christ, King of the Jews. And at the bottom you've got 1824, the much more modern plinth to stand this historic monument on. A monument that's been the symbol of Sylves, or Sylves, for so many years. Anyway guys, I think that's about it for today. We'll see you in a different town, a different city, maybe a different country. So from me, my Portugal national team t-shirt in the city of Silves. Adios.